man? You got a decision against Gabe Rosado in a fight that you boxed really well.
Thank you.
And your skills showed through. You did really well with your jab.
Thank you.
But how would you assess the way you fought? And are you happy with the way you fought and how the fight turned out?
I got the W. I'm always happy. Fights aren't always going to be, people are, you know, they think fighting is just, you know, action-packed and you go in there and just bang it out. You know, this is a very scientific sport, you know what I mean, very measured. And like I just explained to another reporter, if you do your homework, how many punchers and big bangers historically won mega fights? You gotta think about that. You go back to Tyson, he had 2 fights with Holyfield and a mega fight with Lennox Lewis. Didn't win. You go back to Tommy Hearns, who was a stone cold puncher, won no mega fights. Now we talk about fighters that did win mega fights. You're talking Sugar Ray Leonard. You're talking Floyd Mayweather, who's won plenty of mega fights. You're talking Roy Jones. So all of the guys that historically were more intelligent and more scientific in the ring are the ones who won the mega fights. So I think I'm on the right path right now.
Did the crowd affect you at all in terms of when you were in there and you heard them doing what they were doing? Did it come into play at all in your mind?
No, because I mean I'm very in tune with myself. I'm very in tune with the Creator, and I fight for an audience of one first, and that's God Himself. You know, like people, like, you know, like a great saying I heard: I'd rather stand by God and be judged by the world than to stand by the world and be judged by God. So at the end of the day, you know, I do what I do for God and my family first, and if the fans didn't like it, I mean that's on them. You know, people act like it's your fault that they don't like it. You can easily go get some popcorn if you don't like, you know, I don't like this, let me go get a bag of popcorn, you know. I don't like this, let me change the channel. Is this, you know what I mean? But people act like you have to like do what they say. And 90% of those people have never been in a slap boxing match, much less an actual real fight. So, but I'm glad I got the victory. You know, God is good, and we're trucking our way back. You know, it's been a long, hard road for me. You know, from a garage to calling my amateur coach Armando Munoz back, my great strength and conditioning coach. You know, everybody knows the story. I trained out of a garage, you know what I mean, and worked my way back to world-class fights. How many people can say they did that?
In terms of what Rosado brought to the table and what he tried to do against you, what did you make of the type of fight he was trying to fight?
I just stayed intelligent. You know, he wanted to make it rough. You know, on the inside, he, you know, banging on the inside. I tried to keep my hands up because he tried to do the banging around the side, and he tried to make it a rough fight. That's the type of guy he is. You know, he's a Philly tough warrior. You know what I mean? So you're gonna be in a tough fight anytime you fight a guy like this. So I just stay smart. You know, stay patient. Have to be patient. Me and my brother were talking, and the number 9 just kept coming up. The number 9 kept coming up. And I'm like, I told my brother, I was in the gym skipping rope. I said, Trent, Google the number 9 and see what it means, you know, like in the biblical version. And it speaks about patience. My brother was like, you got to be patient. So this whole training camp, this fight, it's all about patience. You know, be anxious for nothing. You know what I mean? The victory is there, but it's a strategic way you got to get there. You know what I mean? If you try to just go there and, you know, be balls to the walls and knock guys out, you open yourself up to be knocked out. At the end of the day, victory is what gets you to that next level. I banged out with Triple G for 3 rounds, and the crowd loved it, but I didn't win. So nobody said, oh, you banged out with him, you need another chance. Everybody said, oh, you're a bum, you got knocked out. Or you quit, you have no heart. You feel what I'm saying? Like, nobody gives you credit for banging out. They want you to do something, then when you do it, they don't give you credit for it. So why not do what I do?
Was that at all lingering in your psyche coming into this fight?
I wasn't lingering in my psyche, you know what I mean? That happened, that's in the past. We're almost 2 years past that. And my job is to get back to that level. And hopefully we can get them again.
You Philly shelled the Philly fighter. I mentioned that to somebody in press row.
Right.
You know, in terms of this win, they were saying that maybe the winner could get a shot at Canelo, or it could be Lemieux. How do you see yourself in those sweepstakes with a guy like Canelo?
I see myself matching up pretty well. I think it's contrasting styles. You know, Canelo's someone who comes forward and throws big punches. I mean, you saw him tonight, you know, body shots, those hard punches over the top, those looping shots, the cruzados, the ganchos to the, you know, gancho ligado. Yeah, I know I knew my Spanish, huh? Yeah, I knew that, huh? I mean, his style, my style being a boxer, you know what I mean? A lot of people, you know, mock my style as La Escuela Cubana, which is to hit and not get hit. You know, I like to dance, that's how I fight. So I think those 2 styles would make for an interesting fight, because it tests Canelo to see if he can catch me, and it tests me to see if I can keep him at bay. So it'll be one of those back and forth fights. But if we don't get it, I mean, whoever else is out there, I think it'll be a great fight. Any other fight is good.
Where do you see yourself if you can't get the Canelo fight?
I mean, there's so many other top middleweights out there. I mean, you have Danny Jacobs, you have David Lemieux, you have who else? Billy Joe Saunders, who called me a bum. So go whoop his little ass. Sorry, I stepped out of my Christian for a minute. Beat the dog crap out of that boy. I'll bring him over here. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry.
It sounded good.